This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
There's an incredible statement made in Masechta Sofrim, Perek Chaf Aleph, Halacha Tes, Brisa Tes. It talks about the pasuk in Sefer Yehoshua, in Perek Yudaled, that describes Avraham Avinu as an anak, as a giant. So we would think it means he was a spiritual giant, but the Masechta Sofrim says something which is astounding. Ha'adam hagadol ba'anakim ze Avraham Avinu. Shahaya Gavaya Kaimasai Keneged Shivim Va'arba Anoshim. Avraham Avinu was the height of 74 people. Va'achilasai Shtiyasai Kach Haya Keneged Shivim Va'arba Anoshim. Avraham Avinu's Achilo Shtiya was the equivalent of 74 people. So he was a very tall individual and a very somebody who could consume the amount of 74 people. We once discussed that considering the fact that Avraham Avinu kept the whole Torah, specifically the mitzvah of Sukkah, as the pasuk says, "Vashem be'erches Avram ba'koil," the Vilna Gaon says, "Ba'koil is Rashi Tevis, ba'sukkos teishu shivas yomim, kol ha'ezrach b'Yisrael yeshu v'sukkos, ki b'sukkos ha'shavti es b'nei Yisrael leman," that's the lamed, ba'koil. So how did Avram sit in a sukkah if he was so tall? A sukkah can't be more than 20 amos, so we once said over from the Avnei Nezer that if you put a platform within a sukkah, and within the area of the platform it's below 20 amos, then the other area becomes kosher as well. That's what we once said over. The question is, what is the remez? How do Chazal know that Avraham Avinu was so tall that he was keneged 74 people? So says the Vilna Gaon that this is Merumaz in the end of this week's Parsha. Because the pasuk says in Perek Chav Daled, pasuk Tes, Vayal Moshe v'Aharon Nadav v'Avihu v'Shivim miziknei Yisrael. Moshe, Aaron, Nadav, Avihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up. How many individuals are we talking about? 70 individuals. And they saw God, V'sachas Raglav, K'masei Livnas HaSapir, U'cha'etzam HaShemayim L'toyar. They had a vision of some kind of revelation, of a divine manifestation. And the pasuk continues, Vayechezu es holokim, Vayochlu vayishtu. They were able to see God and eat and drink. Meaning they would reach the madrega that their achila and their shtia did not interfere with their ability to perceive the divine. So they were on the madrega that no matter, even if they were involved in a physical activity, that did not detract from their recognition of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's talking about 74 individuals who were able to eat and drink, and yet at the same time, that did not take away from their ability to perceive HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, says the Vilna Gaon and the Kol Eliyahu, Avraham Avinu was always on this madrega, not just by Har Sinai, but at any time, Avraham Avinu was on the madrega of these 74 individuals who were able to perceive HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even at a time that they were eating and drinking. This was always the madrega of Avraham Avinu. We could perhaps add, what is the significance that Avraham Avinu was the equivalent of 74 people? What is this mysterious number, 74? Perhaps we could suggest a remez that it's known from the Arizal that the name of Midas Hadin is Elokim, Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, and then Mem. The way to be mamtik the din, the way to sweeten the din, that Arizal says, is to take what is called the Oisiyos HaKodmos, the earlier letters. So what letter comes before Aleph? There is no letter that comes before Aleph, so Aleph becomes an Aleph. Lamed becomes Chaf. Hey becomes Daled. Yud becomes Tes. And the final Mem becomes a regular Mem. This is known as Aleph, and then Chaf, and then Daled, and then Tes, and then a regular Mem, which is numerical value 74. So the Elokim, which is 86, becomes 74. The Midas Hadin, which is 86, becomes Midas HaChesed, Midas HaRachamim, which was the Midah of Avraham Avinu. Perhaps then that is the significance of the fact that Avraham Avinu was equivalent to 74. He knew how to bring Midas Hadin, like it says in Lech Lecha, that there are nuns at the end of Parshas Noach, when it talks about the Petira of Terach. It says he passed away in Haran. There's a large nun to indicate that before Avraham Avinu came to the world, there was anger in the world, there was Midas Hadin in the world, and Avraham Avinu came and he was mamtik the dinim. He sweetened the dinim. He turned 86 into 74. Perhaps that's the secret of what Chazal mean, that Avraham Avinu was the equivalent of 74 people. Perhaps then that's the connection between the end of the Parsha and the beginning of the Parsha. The beginning of the Parsha says, Ve'elah HaMishpatim, these are the rules. So it's brought in the Svarim that Mishpat is Midas Hadin, and the way to sweeten it is Lifneihem, take the Oisiyos HaKoidmos, take the letters before 86. The letters before 86 are 74, meaning the Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yod, Mem become Aleph, Chaf, Daled, Tes, regular Mem, and the 86 becomes 74, as we see in the end of the Parsha, the 74 individuals who are able to perceive God, and this is the secret that Avraham Avinu was the equivalent of 74 people. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.